Good morning. Day 70. Day 70. Day 70. Red Plains. We've been doing this for 70 days. Let's go. Such a lovely day. A little chilly today. It was 25 when I woke up. So temperature definitely dropped, but I'm sure it will be warm again by the time I'm done running. 10 miles on the docket. We got a little bit of snow, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a problem. So just gotta let the chickadees out, and then off I go down there. "10 miles done." It was pretty chilly there at the start, but like I thought, those last couple miles, nice and warm. Hi, Bubba. Hi. Hi. Hello. Everyone's here. 10 miles with strides again, because they felt so good yesterday. Why not? Still interesting thing. I was gonna say I'm still bonking. The interesting thing is that even though my legs are feeling really good, I feel like when I do like a 10-mile run or something, that my energy stores are still not full because I keep bonking in shorter runs. So guess that means I should make a cake. That's the answer, obviously. I'm working on athlete plans right now, but to share something very amusing, because I keep getting these emails from people that are like, "I love your content, but you're not doing well on SEO, and let me fix it for you." Their mistake is that I care. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. That's the whole point. I am sharing my journey, doing something that is like totally out there and outside of the norm of even what we're seeing in any running really right now. I'm not trying to make this a thing. Honestly, when this video series is done, I'm probably going to disappoint all 330 of you because I will probably not be making such frequent videos. I don't know. I might be convinced to do more of a weekly series for the Grand Slam or something, but like I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. So I just find those emails very entertaining. Yeah, they go straight to spam. Now, delete. So I am making this cake, carrot spice cake with cream cheese frosting from Flavor Flowers. I make a few modifications. Sometimes I make this grain-free. Today I'm just making it gluten-free, which the recipe actually is. This whole book is gluten-free. You just are looking at the different types of flours and using them for what they taste best. But I have made this cake, or I was making this cake last year once a month. I would make it the week I would go in for my Safonillo infusions, which were my $15,000 a dose infusion, where I had to drive 2 hours each way to the nearest infusion center. That was for lupus. We discontinued it because it wasn't having a noticeable effect, and that's a lot of a commitment to a medication that's not doing anything. So yeah, it was my treat for the week of those infusions, because that's pretty intense to go to a cancer center and do these infusions. So, but I haven't had it in 7 months, so I guess it's time to bring it back, but for a better reason. Since I have been feeling a little bit bonky, basically most of my runs, I feel like I've been eating pretty well, but I think the whole training through 100-miler thing has just left me more depleted than I normally would be. So I am making a cake so I can eat cake to supplement my regular diet. Let's talk about modifications for this recipe. As I said, the recipe is gluten-free by nature. It's a gluten-free cookbook. There's nothing healthier about being gluten-free unless you have a problem with gluten. So I am gluten-free because it causes me extreme problems. But I have toyed around with this recipe a bunch. I have made it grain-free. I've made it with different flours. The way that the recipe is written is oat flour and white rice flour. I just used Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1, which is a combination of like tapioca, cassava, white rice, and a couple other things. Instead of oat, I used coconut. That's just because that's what I have on hand. And I've done this recipe so many times, I have no fear. The one modification that I always make is she calls for flavorless vegetable oil and like soybean, corn, or safflower, and I just generally don't utilize those oils. I tend to stay away from vegetable and seed oils. So for this, I used half coconut oil that I melted and half olive oil. That's personal preference on how it makes me feel. For sugar, I used regular sugar, plus we had like the tiniest bit of maple sugar left. And I mostly did that, one, to utilize the ingredients I have on hand, which is what you should be doing. And two, it just adds an interesting little flavor. But I'm not trying to healthify this. Like carrot cake it's cake. And I feel like when you want to eat cake, you should eat cake. And it's going to be more satisfying than trying to make something out of healthy ingredients, right? Like, well, if you've ever made some of those weird, like, black bean, this, that, and the other thing, or whatever hangs out on the internet, I am sure that it was not as satisfying as regular cake. So I generally think that you should have the thing that you're craving. And honestly, like if I eat something that's really good, like a slice of this cake, I can eat one slice and then walk away. And I'm not like going back to the fridge to eat half a cake later that afternoon. I eat the rest of the cake over the course of the week, mind you, but like if you have a craving, it's okay to eat what you're craving. And that fits into a runner's diet. And it drives me insane, the amount of restriction that we find in the sport in the name of performance. And honestly, like the same people who are like, oh, I don't eat sugar, are eating like straight sugar in the middle of their runs in the form of gels. So they clearly don't have a objection to sugar in reality. It's just there's so much distortion in the sport. So I think it's very possible to eat cake, have your cake, eat it too, perform really well, and it fits in. It all fits. It all fits. It all fits. Welcome to my TED Talk. Thank you for listening. Okay, apparently I'm not done with my rant. This is why I don't talk about nutrition, because, I mean, one, what works for me because I have spent the last 20 years very deliberately trying to figure out what makes me feel healthy. But I also think that like people are in their little diet cults and there's a lot of misinformation out there, and different things work for different bodies. Different things work for different people at different times in their lives. Which is why I am saying, figure it out for yourself. Look at what works. Try and actually be honest. Like try to take the diet cult part out of it. But I wanted to say that part of the reason that I'm making cake right now is because I have noticed that since cold water that I'm craving sugar, right? And I don't usually have a ton of cravings for sugar. I'll eat dessert if it's like at a restaurant or something, or if it's there, like a piece of chocolate, but generally I'm not like eating all the cookies all the time. And I think that's because I generally meet my needs for my macros. But because I have been kind of depleted, I am craving sugar. Why am I craving sugar? Because I am depleted of my glycogen stores. So it's also just information, right? Like cravings for certain things are actually information about what's going on in your body. And it's really easy to get stuck in your head about what you should eat, but you should also listen to what your body is telling you. And sometimes cake is the answer. I'm just going to keep coming back to that. Cake is the answer. Sometimes. Sometimes steak is the answer. Sometimes tofu is the answer. Sometimes beef liver is the answer. Sometimes yogurt's the answer. Sometimes banana's the answer. Like there are different foods can provide your body with different things. And sometimes that's micronutrient. Sometimes that's macronutrient like sugar. So eat the damn cake. Thank you for coming to part 2 of my TED Talk. Delicious carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. All done. Now, the real test. How does it taste? Solid ratio of frosting to cake. Now let's see. How good is it going to taste? So good. So good. Nailed it. Nailed it. Kitten. Hey, Tucky. Tucky. Tucky, Tucky, Tucky. Oh, you. Can you say, thanks for watching? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me talk about cake. I love cake. I love cake too. Have a good Saturday and a good Sunday. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.